Hi, I wanted to make a video real quick just to help people learn to relax so they can get a better night's sleep. I know with our really extremely busy generation that sometimes it's hard to sleep. So um, first off, I want you to think about not managing anything in your bed, like books, your phone if you have to. Like, I always set my phone as far away from me as possible when I'm trying to sleep. Um, just so you shouldn't mess with your phone in the middle of the night. That's a really bad idea because it fires up your thinking. So, along with not managing anything, number one, you have to try as hard as you can just to turn off your brain. That doesn't mean to think about turning off your brain. I mean, just you have to um, turn off your brain, right? Like, you just can't be thinking about a whole lot of stuff when you're trying to sleep, or you're not going to be able to sleep. You're thinking about stuff. Like, I know how many times I've done that, or I don't know how many times I've done that. Just sitting there, like, thinking about Bible stuff and trying to connect things, or I'll wake up in the morning and I'll be thinking about fishing, or I'll go to sleep and I'll be thinking about fishing, or I'll be thinking about the Bible or some kind of study. Um, so just turn your brain off. Don't don't think about anything. If you have something really important you got to do the next day, maybe if your phone has reminders, you can set that to remind you at a specific time, or you can even set your alarm clock so that will be the first thing you're thinking about when you wake up. Like, some cell phones have a little feature where you can do that. If not, maybe make a note on it and tape it to your door handle, but try to make notes of really important stuff before you go to bed, because if you start making notes, it'll turn into a never-ending process of note after note after note. Another thing is, if you when you wake up and you feel really tired, that's normal. Just like it takes about 30 minutes to even relax where you can go to sleep. You have to relax. Don't think you're going to fall asleep instantly as soon as you lay in your bed. It's impossible. Like, unless you have, like, I mean, I'm not saying it's impossible. Some people might be able to do that, but a lot of times what happens is you start saying, I can't fall asleep. And you might have only been laying there for 2 minutes, but it feels like eternity. So just give yourself a little time to wind down. Like, no one, most people, I would say, don't fall asleep as soon as they lay down. So just give yourself a little bit of time to relax. And if you need to, if you're trying to get used to what I'm talking about, you could set a stopwatch just to prove this point. Like, you might feel like you've been laying there for an hour, but you look at your stopwatch and, hey, I've only been laying here for 4 minutes. Okay, I'm not doing that bad. Because that's the thing, you'll start beating yourself up. Like, I can't sleep, I can't sleep. Um, if you wake up, don't start telling yourself you can't sleep, because there you go, you fired up your thinking again. You have to just not think. I know how hard that is, and I mean, when you start thinking too, you'll start tensing up because you'll be like, I can't sleep, and you just start, like, you can feel it in your muscles. Like, I have kind of like the restless arms and the restless legs, and that's connected to my mind, because I'll be like, I'm still thinking, I'm not relaxing. So that those things. So don't manage anything. I mean, one blanket and a blanket or a sheet, whatever you sleep with, on the bottom. I don't even have a pillow most of the time. Like, I keep a pillow by the edge of my bed right here, so if I decide I want it, I can grab it. But that, for me, that's just more to manage. I'm gonna be fighting with it. I'm gonna be wrestling. I'll be fighting with the blanket. Like, if you if you're cold and sometimes you can't get your blanket quite right, put on like a light sweater or a jacket depending on how cold it is. And so you don't have to manage the blanket. Like the less you have to manage, the less you're thinking, the more you can just lay there and relax. I, if you're like me, it is hard to sleep. So I don't really, I wouldn't recommend drinking caffeine, obviously, before you go to bed. But I don't even really take those approaches. That's kind of like a little more common sense, I think. But every now and then, hey, I might want a cup of coffee, but I would not suggest doing that. Um, or tea actually, tea, like I drank some oolong tea one time before I went to sleep, and I mean that stuff had me like spiked. I was like, whoa, oolong tea gives you this much energy? I couldn't sleep for hours. So tea, coffee, caffeine pills, nothing like that. I mean, if you're doing that, you're obviously like trying to stay asleep. Like, um, maybe just a little bit with like moderation, because maybe that'll help you kind of even out if you're like really exhausted. Um, but just a tiny bit, not much at all. And I wouldn't even recommend doing that. I'm just saying that sometimes I'm so exhausted, I'm like, ugh. So maybe just a little bit of coffee might get me out of that state so I could sleep. I don't know. Hey, I could try it. One night of not being able to sleep might not kill me, but um, most importantly, don't manage anything. Like, put on a jacket even so you don't have to fight with the blanket. Um, so they say that wearing a pair of socks can actually help stabilize your or help regulate your body temperature for a better night's sleep. So putting on a pair of socks, and if it's cold, you might try some of those thick wool socks. So that is actually supposed to help regulate your body temperature and help boost a better night's sleep. I read that in a hotel. I can't remember which hotel it was, or I'd give them credit, but they were actually they had that as a fact on the mirror, saying that they want to help you get a good night's sleep. Thank you, random hotel, for caring about my sleep. I'll carry that everywhere I go from now on. So, just kidding. Um, so, just relax. Don't, if I, personally, I don't turn on music. I don't try to use music to relax. I don't try to use, I wouldn't even try to use teas or pills. Just relax. Turn off your brain. Like, I mean, I'm not a doctor, so if your doctor told you to take pills, I'm obviously not trying to give any bad medical advice or good medical advice. I'm not a doctor. I'm just trying to give you a couple of practical, common sense solutions. I mean, I've been prescribed like amitriptyline. I was prescribed triazidone or trazodone. I had taken like NyQuil before to try to help me sleep. I mean, I just can't sleep. Um, you know, being a Christian, one of the things I've learned is about suffering and how there's different elements that we've been taught about life, is that life is just an easy breeze. So even that kind of stuff will help, like knowing life's not easy, Our bodies hurt. I was in the Marines for 10 years. My body hurts. It does. I'm sad about that. I really am. And being sad's okay. Hurting's okay. You have to learn those things. Not being able to sleep sometimes is okay. Um, we have a very busy lifestyle. That's what civilization forks over on you, like you have to sleep, but you can't. You have to manage all this junk like databases, networking, communications, like just completely insane the kind of lifestyle we live today as compared to um, just probably 50 years ago. Not even to mention like 80 to 150 years ago. I mean, just completely different since the age of like communications and the internet and everything, and nuclear power. Um, so I hope that those tips helped, and I just want to help people who can't sleep just kind of find a bit of help with relaxation. So I hope that that helps, and I appreciate y'all taking the time to watch this video. Thanks for watching. Bye.